Hello everyone, TMMgamer here, bringing you something a little bit unusual today. Today I'm going to bring you the first in hopefully what will turn out to be a long series of FIFA tutorial videos. Now what I'm going to do today is just focus on set pieces, and if you guys end up liking this video, I will move out and move on to bigger and better things, but please just check the set pieces tutorial out, and hopefully by the end of it you'll be banging in goals from every set piece you can imagine. Hope you enjoy the video, guys. Now the first part of this tutorial is going to cover free kicks. Now in my opinion, free kicks are by far the easiest and most reliable way to guarantee scoring, because you can really get them down to a fine art, and if you follow these few tips you're going to be banging in free kicks with complete and utter precision. Now the first thing to notice as I pause the video here is where you aim. You want to aim approximately a body's width out away from the outside edge of the wall. Then once you've got the aiming perfectly set down, you want to begin to power up only about halfway up the power bar, no more. If you do any more than that, you'll blast it over the bar. Now as you're powering up, I want you to hold diagonally left in this occasion and up. That way you impart topspin on the ball, and as you'll see in a minute, the ball will fly very, very nicely into the top corner. Now just to prove that free kick wasn't a fluke, I'm going to give you a quick montage of several other free kicks I take from exactly the same position, and I'll show you every single one will fly into the back of the net. Now of course you're not going to score every free kick you take, but if you put a little bit of practice in, I reckon about 6 or 7 times out of 10 from that sort of range, you will put the free kicks into the top of the net. And there's nothing more frustrating than when you're playing against someone online and you dive in, make a foul, and he sticks it in the top corner, because then you have to completely change the way you defend, because if you dive in, you know deep down that he's going to put that ball in the top corner. And as you can see from this clip, the free kick principle works exactly the same from the other side of the penalty area. If you just aim a little bit to the right of the wall in this instance, power up about halfway up the bar, perhaps a little bit less than that, put the top spin on, the ball will fly into the net pretty much every time, and with a little bit of practice you can be zinging him in from all parts of the pitch just like I do. As you can see here, the trick I just showed you doesn't just work in arena mode. Now this is a free kick. If you conceded this against someone online, they would not expect you to shoot from here. You know, you're quite far on the right hand side of the pitch, but if you have some reasonable free kick takers, like Leo Messi is, you can reliably and regularly put balls into the top corner from pretty much anywhere outside the box. My record free kick distance is 41 metres, and if you just have a pop, you never know, use the tactics and you'll get a lot more goals from free kicks than you do now. Now the second part of this tutorial will cover corners. Now corners are a lot harder to score from regularly than free kicks. Even if you get your corner routine down to perfection, a good player online will still be able to defend from your corners some of the time. However, if you keep hammering away with perfect corners, it is inevitable that eventually his defence will break down, and it will allow your centre-backs a golden opportunity to score. Now the perfect way to take a corner on pretty much most of the FIFA games is to aim for the furthest bit of the D, where the D meets the rest of the penalty area. Now you aim for there and do exactly the same thing as you do with free kicks. You hold diagonally up and left in this case to swing the ball in, but this time you power up pretty much all of the way up the bar. I'd say about 3/4 to 8/10 of the bar. This is because you want to get that ball past the penalty spot, or at least dropping around the penalty spot, because if you drop it to the near post, even if your defender does win the header and manage to power it towards goal, the chances are the keeper will have an easy save due to the easier angle. So you want to put a little bit more power on than you would a free kick to get that corner a little bit deeper. Now, that last corner showed that even if you put a pretty good corner into the box, and that last corner was pretty decent, a big strong defence like Chelsea still have a fairly good chance of clearing it away. However, if you keep bombarding their box with some very good corners, you will inevitably generate some fantastic chances for your attackers to nod the ball in, and that's exactly how it turns out. Now this next corner will almost certainly have been a goal. Unfortunately for me, Rio Ferdinand's 50p head ends up nodding it onto the bar and Chelsea end up clearing. But it's only a matter of time. If you continue to put good corners in like this, it is inevitable that you will get a goal, and that's the way it turned out in this match. This corner just goes to show, if you keep putting a good ball into the box, eventually you'll get your reward. Giggs swings in a great corner, Ferdinand gets a run on the defender, plonks his melon on the ball, and the ball ends up flying into the far corner. You're going to have to stay a little bit more patient with corners than you do free kicks, but if you keep putting those good balls into the box, it's inevitable that eventually your centre-halves will head one of them into the net and give you another easy goal. Now, the third and final type of set piece I'm going to be covering in this tutorial is penalties. Now, penalties have been traditionally very, very easy to score. I remember back to FIFA 10 when all you had to do is get someone with a decent foot, hold down the finesse button, and you'll put it in the top corner 99 times out of 100. However, in FIFA 11, they've made penalties a little bit more tricky. They've made it a lot harder to get the penalties accurate, and they've made the keepers a lot more likely to save them. So you're going to have to put a little bit more practice into taking penalties than you did before. However, if you just follow these few simple tips, scoring penalties will be just as easy and just as natural to you as scoring free kicks will become. The first thing to take notice of when taking a penalty is the aiming marker. The aiming marker is that little blue circle you can see on the keeper's torso at the moment, and the way that behaves to your movement is crucial to how you take good penalties. In FIFA 10, it didn't seem to matter how much power you had. As long as you didn't hold the analog stick down for too long, the ball would still hit the target. But in FIFA 11, that is not the case, as you'll see from this short clip. As that quick clip showed you, the aiming marker does not move at a uniform speed. For the first half of the goal, the aiming marker moves nice and slowly, but the closer you get to the post, the faster it starts to move. And as you get right into the corner, the aiming marker starts to fizz away from the post at a pretty quick speed, resulting in you putting the penalty wide. Therefore, to hit a decent penalty, you've got to learn how fast the aiming marker goes and develop a feel for how long you have to hold the analog stick down. There's no easy way to do this. You're just going to have to get a little bit of practice in and eventually it'll come to you. However, for a rough guide to how long to hold it down, I normally do 2 to 3 steps of the player's run up. Any longer than that and you're going to end up putting the penalty wide, but any less than that and you're going to be ending up barely reaching the corner of the goal. So aim for around 2 steps of the player's run up, let go of the analog stick and see how far you put that penalty. Once you've begun to get a feel for how long to hold the analog stick for, you can begin to think about where you want to place your penalty. My personal favourite is the top corner because it gives you a bigger margin for error. If you slightly underhit your penalty, you'll still hit a penalty that's very difficult to save. However, if you aim to hit a low penalty and slightly underhit it, you'll end up hitting the ball nowhere near the corner of the goal, giving the keeper a very, very easy save. Therefore, in my opinion, it's a lot better to hit a penalty towards the top corner of the goal than it is to try and place one in the bottom. If after a bit of practice you're still struggling, there is one thing you can try. I like to call this the mystery penalty. It involves powering up as much as you can and then pulling the aiming bar directly down with the left analog stick. This means you hit a penalty where the ball can fly anywhere in that red area. It's not very accurate and it will certainly not fly into the corner. However, if you're having a bit of trouble aiming, this will guarantee you get your penalty on target. And as the ball can fly anywhere in that red area, it brings in an area of mystery. If you have no idea where you're going to hit your penalty, your opponent online certainly won't have any idea. And it's definitely worth a try in a penalty shootout if you're suffering from a little bit of jitteriness and you're not confident of hitting a penalty firmly into the top corner. Another thing to try if you're still struggling is hitting a finesse penalty. This involves holding down R1 when you're charging up the power bar and results in hitting the penalty with the instead of the laces. This gives you a lot more controllability and ensures that the aiming circle is that little bit smaller so you can hit a more precise penalty. However, you end up hitting the penalty a lot softer than you would normally, giving the keeper a better chance of saving if he guesses the right way. Therefore, I would only recommend a finesse penalty when you are still learning the controls, and once you've got a little bit more confidence, I recommend hitting every penalty with the laces, as that increased power will still give you a much better chance of scoring than an increased accuracy finesse penalty. One final penalty worth a mention is the stutter penalty. To hit this penalty, simply tap circle or the shoot button as your player runs in to take the penalty. This causes your player to stutter his run up instead of running full-bloodedly through the ball as usual. This is an invaluable penalty to hit online, as you can see, as in this still clip here, which way the keeper is diving, giving you that quick opportunity to change your penalty direction, and in this case, cause the keeper to dive too far and guarantee a goal. This is a fantastic penalty to hit online, as most online goalkeepers like to pick a way to dive very, very early, and by hitting a stutter penalty, you get to see which way he wants to dive, and you can quickly adjust the penalty, enabling you to score far more often than if you just hit a full-blooded penalty. However, in my opinion, it's quite wise not to hit too many of these in a penalty shootout. If your opponent expects you to hit a stutter penalty, he will delay his dive, resulting in you hitting a poorer penalty and giving him a much better chance to score. That tip brings to end my very, very first FIFA tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please rate and comment as always, and if it gets enough positive feedback, I'll bring you a host of more FIFA tutorials in the next few weeks. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a nice day.